Assalamu alaikum. Today in this video we will discuss the fluid system of the eye, its related disease condition and also the accommodation. One more thing I want to clear to you that most of these my lectures they are not present in your textbook. So be careful about these lectures. Watch carefully these videos. They are not only helpful for you in the theory but also for the practical purposes. So today we will discuss the fluid system of the eye, how the aqueous humor is formed and how it circulates in the eye. As we know, the anterior segment of the eye that is filled with the clear fluid which is called the aqueous humor. This fluid is formed by the ciliary body, flows through the pupil into the anterior chamber, finally entering the canal of Shalom. From that into the venous blood and to the heart. How it is formed, I will discuss it in detail, but you must know that the normal intraocular pressure is 15 mmHg, having the range of 12 to 20 mmHg. And if in any case it increases more than that, it will cause the disease condition which is called the glaucoma, and in Urdu it is called kala motia as compared to the cataract which is called safed motia. Because in cataract the lens becomes opaque, whitish opaque, so that from outside one can see one white bead in the eye. That's why it is called safed motia. And in comparison to that, the glaucoma is called kala motia. This is the picture to show how the aqueous humor is formed and how it circulates. Before that, I must clear some of the things that it is the ciliary body and lens that is attached to the ciliary body through these ligaments. The other name is the sonule. From the ciliary body, as you can see from this picture also, from the ciliary processes, this liquid that is produced, formation of aqueous humor take place. Once it comes here, it circulates through the pupil, come anteriorly and then reabsorb into the canal of Shalom. That is very simple way how it forms and how it comes to the anterior side of the eye to be absorbed into the canal of Shalom. These arrows in the vitreous humor showing how the pressure is distributed. In case any obstruction in the way of the circulation of the aqueous humor, the excessive pressure is exerted over whole of the retina, including the optic disc, the head of the optic nerve, and through that it is going to the main cerebral part to affect the brain also. So this is the direction of the pressure from here. In this direction I will show different pictures also again to have a clear concept. From this animation you can see very clearly the aqueous humor is formed from here Through the pupil, it is coming into the anterior side of the eye of the anterior chamber, and then from there it is reabsorbed. This you can see clearly. This is the direction of the pressure exerted by the aqueous humor if there is excessive more than 20, maybe more than 25 mmHg pressure. If it increases more than that, what happens? The excessive abnormal pressure that is exerted over whole of the retina. You can see the direction of the pressure, and now it is directly affecting over the optic disc, and you can see that because of the pressure there is some depression. So the glaucoma, that is the abnormal condition in which there is excessive increase in the intraocular pressure, and this you can see the pressure which is exerted over the optic nerve, it may damage that one. So the glaucoma is a disease in which there is any obstruction to the circulation of the to the pathway of the aqueous humor, so that it is accumulated there and exert excessive pressure which cannot be tolerated here, and that is distributed to whole of the posterior segment including the optic nerve. At the optic disc it can create the depression which is at the optic disc, and it is called the cupping of the optic disc. This cupping of the optic disc can be visualized through the ophthalmoscopy, and this is the main feature. Without any investigation, without pricking, without pricking to the patient, without any lab investigation, you can diagnose a very important disease by visualizing the optic disc through the ophthalmoscopy for the glaucoma. In that condition, there will be cupping of the optic disc. Again, you can see how the aqueous humor is formed and going to the canal of Shalom to be absorbed. Sometimes there is any infection of the eye, so that you can see this part in which it is going to be absorbed. This part, so that it is maybe obstructed because of the obstruction, because of the infection, so that the aqueous humor cannot be drained into it and accumulated in the anterior part of the anterior segment. This is a very nice animation in which you can see the effect of the increasing pressure which is exerted over the optic disc. Here you can see the cupping of the optic disc, and this is the picture. Change in the picture, note the change in the picture which can be visualized through the ophthalmoscopy. And this is the dimness of the figure, dimness of the subject. Any picture through the diseased eye, that is, he or she is unable to visualize it completely and clearly. So, with the increase in the pressure, all the changes, these are separately mentioned in this animation. The diagnostic sign is the cupping of the optic nerve, which is visualized through the ophthalmoscopy. And second thing, the pressure which can be measured through the instrument, specific instrument I will show you later on. This is the instrument which is called the Short stonometer. It is put over the eye after you have given the patient install the local anesthetic drop xylocaine into the eye drops, so that you can put this instrument over the eye, and there is a scale over this instrument you can see in on which you can check the pressure of the eye. This is the measurement of the intraocular pressure through an instrument, and we can have different type of the instrument also. I will show you later on, but you must know that we can measure the excessive pressure with our hand by putting our two fingers, one index finger of right hand and one index finger of left hand. Both fingers, they are put over the closed eye of the patient. By pressing right hand, you can have the feeling over the left hand finger. If there is increase in the pressure, normally there is a feeling of the softness of the eyeball. But in case the pressure is increased, you will feel a stony sensation, that as you are pressing a stone very hard. So this makes the difference, and this is a very simple, without any instrument, the measurement of the intraocular pressure, to have an idea about the intraocular pressure. In this way, you cannot measure the exact value, but you can get the idea about either it is increased or not. One more thing about the glaucoma, you must know that it is silent. The patient sleep at night and in the morning wake up with blindness. So this is a very dangerous disease. Without any sign symptom, it can cause a gross damage to the eye. This is a very specific point about this disease. This is the short stonometer, and how it is applied. I have shown you this picture previously. So this is the instrument and this is the dial from where you can measure the intraocular pressure. After you have given the local anesthetic drops to the eye. We can have different types also of this instrument, but mostly simply this instrument is used. How you are going to use the other instrument, this animation is showing you how you are going to use this type of the instrument. Again, it is a very nice animation through which you can see the how glaucoma can affect the eye with the retinal image here showing the damage over the optic disc. How you are going to treat the disease? Number one thing, the medical treatment. Once you control the pressure, you can have the surgical treatment also. If it is controlled through the medical treatment, it is very nice. But if it necessary, then the surgical procedure can be adopted. For medical treatment to decrease the pressure, we can use the Diamox 250 mg 1 TDS or the topical eye drops 0.5% BT. If this is not sufficient and you feel that surgical treatment must be given to the patient, for that purpose, trabeculotomy after control of pressure is performed. This is the procedure in which you make an artificial hole through which the aqueous humor is allowed to come on the anteriormost part, anterior side, anterior surface of the cornea into the conjunctiva so that from the conjunctival vessels it may be absorbed. This is the procedure using advanced microsurgical techniques and equipment. The doctor will create a tiny new channel. This you can see, this one, between the inside of the eye and outside. And through this small section of tissue that will be removed, creating a channel to allow fluid to pass through the blocked drainage network onto the white portion of the eye, that is the sclera. The incision will be closed with small stitches and covered with the thin outer tissue of the eye called the conjunctiva. Blood vessels in the conjunctiva will carry the draining fluid away. Sometimes after surgical operation, some of the fluid that is drained outside out to the eye, which becomes somewhat problem for the patient to clean his or her eye again and again. But as compared to the disease condition, it is not so much important. So, because if the disease remains there, blindness can be caused by the disease. So, this is a very, if any time, if in any case it develops, it is not so much important. Coming to the next topic, that is called the accommodation. This is a very, very, very important topic regarding your examination point of view and also the viva. Before discussing the exact process of the accommodation, I must tell you what is the accommodation. When you see the four objects, after visualizing these objects at a distant part, you want to visualize the near objects. They also can be visualized very clearly by the eye. What are the changes? Because of these changes, you are able to visualize the near objects very clearly, as much as clear as the far objects. If you focus the near objects, after focusing these and want to see the far objects, your eye is adjusted to see the far objects again clearly. So what are these changes occur in the eye during this process? That once you focus the far objects, they are visualized very clearly. After focusing them, if you want to see the near objects, they are also very much clear to you. So how the eye is going to adjust itself to visualize all these objects either located at distant place or near place. They are visualized by eye very clearly. How the eye and its system adjust itself for these two conditions, all these changes which occur in the eye collectively called the accommodation process. Before understanding or what are these changes, I must tell you some more detail about the eye structures. This is the iris, and in the center we see the lens, pupil and the lens. The lens is after the iris, sorry, it is not iris, iris is in front. It is the holding, these suspensory ligaments, they are holding the lens. As you can see from this, iris is in front of the lens while the lens itself is not placed in the air. It is held by the suspensory ligament. The other name for the suspensory ligament is the zonule. This one. And the lens is attached to the wall of the eyeball through the suspensory ligaments to the this circular fibers or the ciliary body. So this is the arrangement of the normal eye, how the lens is supported. These muscles, which are these muscles, they are arranged in different directions. They are of three kinds: circular, radial and meridional, so that they are distributed in all of the direction and holding the lens and can contract or relax accordingly and if and have a well support over the lens through the suspensory ligaments. This is again a clear picture, ciliary body, and in that we have the circular muscle which are of three types, and you can visualize the zonules, and this is the lens. I am discussing all these things clearly because for the process of the accommodation, the main change that occur at these points: lens, then suspensory ligament or zonule, and ciliary body. All these things, they are going to adjust themselves according to the distance of the object. An iris that is in front of the lens. In children, the refractive power of the lens can be increased voluntarily from 20 to 34 diopters, allows the lens to change from moderately convex to greatly convex. All these changes I will discuss in next slide, this one. These are the changes which occur during the mechanism of the accommodation. What is the initial point? What is the initial stimulus for the accommodation? You must remember this is the blurring of vision. Once you see far objects and now you want to see the near object, the vision becomes blurred. So that to adjust the vision accordingly, the following changes occur. And also the same thing in opposite direction when you see the near objects and then want to the visualize the far objects. Again the same thing, same changes occur but in the opposite direction. So once you see the far objects and want to see the near objects clearly, the following changes occur. Number one thing, ciliary muscles contract and zonules relax. These two things, they are going opposite to each other. Once it contracts, it must be relaxed. They are arranged in such a manner that they act opposite to each other. If zonule they contract, the ciliary muscle they are going to be relaxed. Once the zonules relax, what is the effect on the lens? It becomes more globular. Tension on the lens capsule decreases. Once the zonule they contract, the tension over the lens capsule that increases, it becomes less globular. So when ciliary muscle contracts, zonule relax, the lens become more globular and the radius or curvature of anterior surface at rest it is 10 mm and the posterior is 6 mm. While during the strong accommodation, when it become more globular, the anterior surface that is having the radius of curvature 6 mm and there will be no effect on the posterior side. So mainly it is the anterior part, anterior surface of the lens capsule which is taking part in the mechanism of the accommodation. The change in the radius of curvature, because of that the lens become more globular and for it the mostly anterior surface of the lens that become more globular, so that the AP diameter increases, lens thickness increases in center, and because of that the dioptric power increases. The next step that you must remember, the pupil constrict and also the convergence of the eyeball. The best example is when you are reading the newspaper. If you make a video of yourself while reading the newspaper, you can check all these changes. That is the constriction of the pupil and the convergence of the eyeball also. They are more visual, they are more prominent while reading the newspaper. So these are the changes which occur during the accommodation of the eye. Now you can check through the animations the change in the lens during accommodation. That is, it is becoming more and more globular and the dioptric power of the lens because of that increase in the AP diameter, it increases. This is again how the zonule they contract and relax, and because of the change of that the lens become more globular and less globular. This is again you can check the change in the eye surface, lens surface, anterior surface of the lens. Very nice picture. In that you can visualize how the focus of the distant object that is here on the retina, and for the close focus the change is here. And in this picture the action of the zonule is also shown, that is once they are relaxed the lens become more globular. I am showing you these pictures from different angles so that you must remember all these changes which occur during the mechanism of the accommodation. This is another animation to show. On one hand it is showing just simply what is the change during accommodation process, and this is the nervous indication how this accommodation is conveyed to the brain. Amplitude of accommodation. The initial stimulus, as I have told you, that is the blurring of the vision. Once the vision is blurred, all the changes they start. Ability of the lens to increase is refractive power or dioptric power. In the young children 14 diopters. At 20 years we can have the 9 to 11, 46 diopters, and at 55 to 60 2 diopters remains. And this is the point on which the presbyopia and other disease conditions that occur. Presbyopia is the loss of accommodation in the old age because of the age factor, the effect of the age on the eye, so that the dioptric power that decreases too much to 2 diopter. This is the same thing as in early age. Anyone can have the hypermetropia. If hypermetropia develop at old age, it will be presbyopia because of the age factor. And this is not a so much disease condition, actually it is the effect of the age over the eye, in the eye, so in which the lens that is affected. In old age the patient may have the cataract also, that is again due to the age factor. The proteinous part of the lens that is degenerated so that the lens become opaque. And if there is loss of accommodation, the condition is called presbyopia. What is near point? Near point, it is the nearest point for which I can accommodate to have the clear image. If you put any newspaper or book in front of your eye for check to check the near point, now bring your book closer to the eye. At certain point, the image of your book that becomes blurred. That is the point to be noted, and this is the limit of the near point. That is the nearest point for which I can accommodate to have the clear object and clear image. If you bring the book more clear to the eye, more closer to the eye, the image will become blurred. So this nearest point is called the near point, and it is in the at the 9 to 12 years it is 9 centimeter, while at the 60 years it is 83 centimeter. In that case, the old patients, they will bring the book far away, far from the eye, to have a clear object. Because of the loss of accommodation, the near point that distant to the far point, far distant to the eye, so that the near point increases to the 83 centimeter. As far as its nerve supply is concerned, it is through the parasympathetic nerves. And what is presbyopia? I have told you. The loss of accommodation by the lens. As with the age, the lens loses its elasticity and becomes larger and thicker and rigid also. By the age of 45 to 50, diopters drop from 14 to 2, and by 70 it is 0. So there will be loss of accommodation. But here you must know that there is a change. This is a fixed thing, that the change in the dioptric power of the lens take place. But you must add one point here, that anyone who is in the younger age or in the adult age, he or she is myopic. In the old age, there may be perfectness of the vision without glasses. So he or she can remove the glasses because of the change in the dioptric power. If anyone who is normal, who is having normal vision at adult age, may can have the presbyopia in old age. For that, he must use the glasses. So because there is a change in the dioptric power of the lens, if in the early age, in the adult age, he is myopic, in the old age, because of this process, the glasses, they are removed. But if the vision is normal in adults, in the old age, they may develop the condition presbyopia and they may use the glasses. So with this, we complete the fluid system of the eye, its related disease condition, that is glaucoma, and also the accommodation and its related disease presbyopia. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.